Food has been at the heart of Chinese culture for centuries. And today, the most common greeting for friends and family is still, "Have you eaten yet?" China offers an incredible variety of tasty dining options. Here are a few you really should get out and experience for yourself.
The Chinese take their food very seriously. There's a wide variety to choose from, and this is real hot pot.
The concept is simple. Just choose from an inviting selection of fresh ingredients, then cook at your table in a natural broth. Hot pot has been a Chinese favorite since the Tang Dynasty. Or try dim sum, where small servings of steamed buns, dumplings, and other delicacies are wheeled from table to table. Peking duck is a favorite of many and usually carved at your table, where a skilled chef can slice more than 100 tasty pieces from a single duck.
It really is a science. This is much more difficult than carving a roast leg of lamb.
And it's delicious. This is definitely worth experiencing.
It's a bit of a magic show. You can hardly believe what he is in the process of producing.
Known as Lamian noodles, a master noodle maker can create these thin noodles simply by tossing the dough in a particular way. My last recommendation is simply fun.
If you're in the mood for something a little bit more exotic, there's Shanghai street food.
While we don't recommend you try this street food, we do recommend a stroll through the night market. It's a fun atmosphere and a chance to see just how unique the delicacies are in different countries around the world.
Number 1. Where to sit. See, before you even sit down for your meal, it's important to show the proper respect to the host as well as the guest of honor. You do this by not occupying the seat of honor, which is the center seat facing the entrance. Then the second most important person sits to his or her right side, the third most on his or her left side, and so on. The person footing the bill usually sits in the least prominent position, opposite the guest of honor. Number 2. How to order. Chinese meals are traditionally family style, where everyone shares all the dishes, with one person ordering for the whole table. Sometimes the host will order a few dishes and ask the guests to each order an additional dish. If you're the one ordering, make sure to get a variety and make sure it's an even number. An odd number of dishes is traditionally reserved for funeral meals, and that is bad luck. Number 3 and 4. How to pour tea and how to show gratitude. Even with tea, there's a proper way to pour and drink it. It's polite to pour for those around you by taking the teapot handle in your right hand and then placing your left hand on the lid. This shows that you are honoring the person you're pouring for and keeps the lid from falling off. When the tea is out, leave the lid partially off and at the side of the table to indicate to the waitstaff that a refill is needed. Taking the lid entirely off is, you guessed it, bad luck. And if someone is pouring tea for you, a verbal thank you is necessary. Or if conversation is flowing, a verbal thank you may be disruptive, so you can take your index and middle finger, bend them, and tap them on the table. This is an acceptable show of gratitude that started in ancient times. An emperor was said to have gone undercover with 2 Secret Service-like servants in tow to observe his kingdom and how it was doing. At a restaurant, the emperor pours tea to his aides. Normally, they would kneel down on the ground and bow in gratitude. However, this would blow his covers, so instead, they bow with their fingers on the table, like this. Number 5. Chopsticks handling. As difficult as they are to hold, proper chopsticks handling is a must. So take the time to learn how to use them correctly and avoid unintentional bad behavior. Chopsticks are seen as an extension to your fingers, so never point them directly at anyone. It's considered rude. Also, never leave the chopsticks sticking upright off the dishes, as it looks like incense in food dishes left in honor of the dead. Bad luck. Along those lines is number 6. How to eat your food. Chinese meals are usually served on a lazy Susan to make family-style eating all the more easy. When a dish is served, the senior-most person gets first stab at it, and then it's rotated around the table. It's polite to only take a small portion to make sure everyone gets some. And number 7. How to eat fish. Fish is usually served at Chinese meals, as the term have fish or you sounds the same as 有余, which means surplus. Having a surplus is lucky. 年年有余 is a common phrase used during Chinese New Year to wish someone good fortune and surplus year after year. When a fish is served whole, once one side is eaten, never flip the fish over. This custom started in Chinese fishing communities when the fish symbolizes a boat. So flipping it over indicates flipping the livelihood over. So how do you get to the other side? Simply use your chopsticks and grab the backbone and lift up. Set it on the side of the dish and voila! More deliciousness to consume. Last but not least, how to pay the bill is a very intricate process and the most important custom to note. Guests should never ever split the bill with the host. It's very ungracious because it's as if you're saying that the host cannot afford the bill or that you do not accept his or her hospitality. Super rude. Now the host is supposed to pay for the meal, but you have to offer to pay for the meal at least a few times. The more sincere looking the mock effort, the better. Now don't get all into it and really pay the bill, because that would be rude too. And don't just sit back and accept that he or she is paying, even though that is what is really happening, because that would make it seem like you expect them to pay and that they owe you somehow. So dance the dance and offer to pay, graciously allow the host to pay, then thank them sincerely.
國菜五品, which refers to the 5 key concepts of what really makes a dish great. And those 5 things are 色, 香, 味, 意, 形. Number 1, 色. This refers to a color of a dish. Everything is super colorful. If anything, if the dish is primarily brown or red, there will always be a green bit of garnish. That kind of color and that kind of display is the core to Chinese cooking. Number 2, 香. The smell of any dish is what makes you drool for it, but this particular notion of smell is so key to Chinese cooking, and that's why a lot of dishes right at the end will incorporate some sesame oil or some flavored oils to really bring out the smell. And again, that's why we see a lot of peppers, we see a lot of cumin, we see a lot of coriander used in Chinese dishes to really bring out the element of smell. Number 3, 味, which means taste. Any good Chinese chef is always thinking about how do we intensify and make a flavor even deeper. Number 4, 意. This refers to meaning, but in Chinese cuisines, we particularly like to have kind of an auspicious meaning to a dish or a great sounding name. The name of the dish or the meaning that it represents is just as important as how it tastes, smells, and looks. That's why you'll see a lot of dragons, jades, silver, gold, all these kind of great auspicious words in the names of dishes. And finally, 形, which means shape or presentation.